Hi guys, I'm back, continuing to feel really well. My biggest struggle right now is trying to work on this new diet that I'm trying. Um, Through this process, you guys have watched some of the ups and downs with me and my health and just what has helped and what hasn't helped. And so far, I would say most of the things that I've tried have actually helped. Seeing Dr. Tent for the supplements, getting chiropractic adjustments, doing the energy work on myself. The final thing was my diet, which I really needed to clean up. I had always, I shouldn't say always, but I thought that I ate really well. I thought that I ate a lot healthier than most people. I ate all organic and barely any processed food or refined sugar, barely any dairy, small amounts of gluten. And it was one of those things that truly there are no coincidences, and I believe that now. Leading up to this whole process, maybe I wouldn't have believed that, but twice in one day lectins were mentioned to me. I was eating lunch and someone had brought up lectins, and then later on that same day I was just browsing through my Facebook feed and someone had commented on a smoothie that I was making. It was just frozen bananas and a scoop of cashew nut butter, and they had said it's loaded with lectins. That's like a horrible thing for you to eat if you have autoimmune issues and have food sensitivities. And I thought, well, my God, what else can you cut out of your diet? I mean, if you get rid of gluten and dairy, that's everything. There's nothing left to eat. So once I started looking into these lectins, they're literally in everything. Like a lot of people that are trying to make healthier choices, a big thing that's been popular recently is a lot of people going vegetarian. And a lot of that is because of the animal cruelty, which I totally agree is just horrible. But one thing is that a lot of people start eating a lot of nuts and beans and seeds, and a lot of those things are high in lectins, which I don't know a ton about them, but I do know, I believe it's a protein that I thought originally that it binds to sugar, but I'm not positive. But it can attach itself to your gut wall and start causing a lot of damage. It can cause leaky gut, which most of us with autoimmune disease know that it probably, a lot of it starts from there. And I started looking into these lectins, and I realized that even though times that I've been completely gluten-free, I was still eating a lot of rice and quinoa, and beans I never ate a ton of, but I did eat a lot of nuts, and even my protein powder was a pea protein, which is very high in lectins, and it's pretty impossible to avoid them completely. You would just starve to death. There's a lectin shield that you can buy, which helps like absorb some of the lectins and the havoc that they wreak on our bodies. Small amounts of them are actually beneficial, but for the most part, they're pretty harmful. Like kidney beans are really bad, potatoes, peas. I'm trying to think what else off the top of my head. Any kind of grain is really high in lectins, and by cooking and fermenting and sprouting a lot of things, you can eliminate most of them. Like if you cook your rice properly. Oh, tomatoes, like that's something that I love. So I would think, oh, I'm gonna eat a tomato sandwich on gluten-free bread, and I would think that was like the greatest thing in the world. Apparently that's really not. So, and you guys can do your own research, because I'm trying to keep these videos as short as possible and just share what's actually really helping and keep it nice and simple. But that's what I would do, is look up lectins and what exactly they are and what they do and the type of people that they affect, and usually it's us. And start looking at your diet and see how many of these lectins are you consuming. I started almost 2 weeks ago now eliminating as many as possible from my diet, and that was really difficult because nuts were a huge source of my protein and fat intake, and I'm not really big on eggs and meat. So that's something I'm learning, this whole new balance with what I'm eating and what I'm doing, and it's actually working. I have to say, I started to feel like I was going back downhill a little bit with my health and my fatigue and my energy and that kind of stuff. And from upping up the Jyutsu that I'm doing, I do that I have to do it every day. If I skip a day, it's usually okay, but I have to get right back up and start doing it. So maybe like 5 times a week at the least, but I do recommend it at least once a day. And then watching the lectins, I have started to notice, I feel like I'm winning the race again all of a sudden. I don't seem to be as achy. The first week I had tons of cravings and it was like, oh my God, I'm so hungry. I'm just gonna eat rice and quinoa and it's gonna be fine. But it's like, no, I've tried that before and I did feel really good being gluten and dairy free. But obviously it didn't stick and my issues came back, and you know, here I am doing these videos for a reason, because I'm miserable with my health. So it seemed to make a huge difference. Sorry, I'm literally holding the, I did itch my foot. I'm literally holding the tripod with my foot because if not, it's gonna do one of those. So I don't know why I'm always having a problem with this tripod. I thought it was gonna be so much easier and fix all my problems, but it's not. Nothing in life is easy, right? But anyways, so that's what I've been doing. It's working. It's been worth pushing through the cravings. Like, there were nights, my husband owns a pizzeria, so that's super hard for me to not eat, you know, fresh dough and pizza sauce and cheese. I love all of those things so much. But I kept pushing through and telling myself no, and I was hungry. My stomach was really upset because I have a super sensitive stomach. And there were times it was like, oh, I just need a piece of toast and I'll feel so much better. Well, no, it just would have prolonged the whole process. So I kept telling myself no, continued to eliminate grains. The only grains I've had in almost 2 weeks is like a half a piece of sprouted grain bread and a couple of rice crackers just to get through my craving. I told myself that I would allow myself some sushi or something like that, and I'm gonna still continue to push through if I can eliminate all grains, and that's the route that I'll go for as long as possible. And then maybe have select grains and see what I can get away with, because it's all about what we can tolerate. And for each person, that's completely different. We all have different health issues. But one thing that I want to come back to, because it was my biggest struggle through this whole process of how to treat my issues, was, is this an issue that I need to treat holistically and with energy work? Because a lot of people believe that, you know, our health, it's all stuff that we've manifested and created through our emotions and stress and that kind of stuff. And I could 100% say that for myself. I do believe that's where all this started. I lost the balance in my life and stopped taking care of myself, and you kind of get what you put out into the universe, and I wasn't being very kind to myself or taking care of myself. And it's been like a domino effect. I would go that route, and then I would think, okay, wait, well, this is a medical issue that I'm having. I need to treat this medically. And I would get a little bit of progress with that. And then I would go back to the holistic energy work. I do believe that 100%, as far as like my surgery for the TOS, I needed a medical intervention because of the point that it was at. But everything kept coming back to the energy work and the holistic medicine to start getting me back on the path. So I just want to touch on that because it's a confusing process and you're pulled in so many different directions. Everyone says that their way is the best, and for them it might be, and for you, you're trying it and you're trying it and you're trying it, and you're just not getting the results. Just hang in there. You know, definitely address the things medically that you need to, but maybe try not to go that route so much with, you know, whatever you can get away with. Again, I don't want to like make it sound like if you have a serious medical issue, ignore it. And, you know, I'm just saying, I wish I would have stopped flip-flopping so much, and I wish that I would have just stuck with the holistic and the energy work that I was doing, because that's what in the end got me over the hump, and it's what is helping me succeed with my health even more. So stick with it. And then also, like, my faith was being tested a lot. You know, if I would have a good week, especially since I've been doing these videos, there have been like some ups and downs, which I started feeling really good. So that makes it very difficult. You're feeling great, and then all of a sudden you're not feeling good. So then, was any of it even working? And you start just second guessing everything. And I just didn't do that this time. I just accepted what was happening, that I was just having some setbacks, and realized I wasn't sleeping, and I was taking advantage of my newfound energy because I was so excited to have it. It was like I have 100 things I want to do, and was just really burning myself out. So I had to stop doing that. And once again, I kind of recognized that and saw that I wasn't treating myself very well, and it's still part of the process and lessons I had to learn. But then when I got to that point, I'm so glad that I fought through and pushed through all of the negative stuff and the setbacks, because I wouldn't be here saying, oh, I feel so good and I've got these great things that have been helping and working. So I know I talked about the main central flow. It's your, it's in Shin Jyutsu, it's your main central harmonizing flow. Try that. It takes like 18 minutes if you do about 3 minutes per point. And then try avoiding lectins. It's super hard. You're going to want to eat an entire pizza. Like I almost went crazy just from like literally withdrawing from food. It was almost disturbing. And I'm almost at the 2-week mark, and my cravings are almost completely gone. So I'm so glad that I didn't crack. I've had goat cheese and that kind of stuff, which I'm sure I know it's better than actual like cow cheese as far as inflammatory factors and what's in it and all of that. But that helped too, because I do love cheese. That was like the biggest thing. And I have had some nut butter, because I had to make it realistic for myself. I'm not like crazy about eggs and meat. So I'm just seeing what I can get away with as far as the lectins and the items that are really loaded with them. Like I know kidney beans are, I think, like the #1. It's a pretty crazy amount that they have, even when cooked. I mean, they say it's a safe level of lectins to eat them cooked, but it's still a lot. So just stick with it. Try and, cut those foods out. I haven't had a tomato, and like I said, I could eat a tomato sandwich every day and eat it like an apple. So just continue to push through. Tell yourself no. You'll start feeling better. The cravings will go away. Do your Shin Jyutsu whenever you feel shitty and you want to give up. And like phone a friend, find somebody that's going to help push you through this process. And I promise you it's going to work for you, because it's working for me. I'm proof of that. I almost feel like I look like a different person from my first video. I was so miserable and literally thought I was dying. And now I feel so much hope, and I know that. It's my cat. And I know that I'm going to continue to feel better and better until I complete my journey. And then through this whole process, my goal is to help you guys as much as possible, and to cut out all the things that I can to make this as direct and easy for you as possible, because it gets a little hopeless and you just want to give up. So if I can eliminate that for any of you, I would love that. So I'll continue to let you know how my progress is, and just don't give up, because that's half of it. You just have to keep doing it and keep trying, and even when you're feeling crappy, don't give up, because it's going to be a better day tomorrow. So I will check back in about a week, okay?